We'll begin today with chaos in Brooklyn after police officers shot a teenager dead. Two plainclothes police officers shot and killed 16-year-old Kamani Gray over the weekend. Police say the Brooklyn resident pointed a gun at them before they opened fire, but some witnesses dispute this. Last night, around 100 people took to the streets in East Flatbush, Brooklyn, to protest the teen's death.
Stop killing our baby! They are our baby! Stop killing our kids! Okay? Stop coming to our neighborhood and killing us off! We're paying you guys to protect the children, not to kill the children!
The demonstration started as a vigil, but as you can see, it turned chaotic. Demonstrators voicing their anger at police they blame for the teen's death. Police say they responded after protesters threw bottles and officers threw those bottles at officers and smashed windows. For more, I'm joined now by Carl Dix, a national leader and activist. Welcome, Carl. So I want to start off by getting your reaction to the death of Kamani Gray.
Look, people were right to take to the streets yesterday in Brooklyn. Kamani Gray, 16 years old, another black youth killed by the police. I mean, how long are we going to have to bury our youth who lose their lives at the hands of the police?
Now,
It's going to take revolution and nothing less to deal with this problem once and for all.
Now, police say that that this suspect, Kamani Gray, that he was armed and the weapon was loaded, and that Gray pointed the gun on the police officers. What about police having the right to act when they feel that their life is in danger?
Look, the police, whenever they murder or kill a black or Latino youth, it is always deemed justifiable homicide. The witnesses tell a different story. I've been in court with police. They testify. This happens, testify through lies. This happens again and again. It's unacceptable and it must be stopped. And I'll tell you, it's going to take revolution, nothing less, to stop it. That's the approach that I take to it. And that's the importance of this film that's premiering in Harlem this Saturday, B.A. Speaks, Revolution, Nothing Less, where he's going to talk about horrors like this, why they happen again and again, but also that it doesn't have to be this way, that through revolution we could bring a different world into being without the brutality and degradation that's inflicted on people today in this society.
Now, certainly a lot of the facts in this case are unclear, as a lot of the facts are disputed. One side saying one thing, you have police saying another. I do want to read, though, a statement from Councilman Jumaine Williams from the Brooklyn District.
That's Jumaane Williams.
Jumaane, excuse me. He says that he does not condone any violence on the part of protesters, but he also says this, quote, "I also cannot condone the continued refusal to hear the voices of this community. This action, which some are calling an uprising, was not about the details of one shooting. It spoke to the overwhelming frustration that people are living through day after day." So I want to ask you what kind of frustration he is referring to and how people in these communities view the police.
We should live in a society where those who are entrusted with public security would sooner risk their own lives than murder or injure an innocent person. But it's the other way around. Ramarley Gray shot in his own bathroom last year up in the Bronx. In that same part of Brooklyn, Shanta Davis shot down by another part of Brooklyn, a young man named Robinson run over by a police car because the police thought he was stealing bricks. This is why people are upset, and they should be upset. And I got to tell you, they should stand up and resist this. We need more of that. But to end it once and for all, it's going to take revolution, nothing less.
Okay, you keep using this word revolution. I want to ask you, A, what exactly do you mean by the word revolution? And then I know that you are really encouraging these protesters. I want to ask you, though, that when protesters are turning violent, throwing things and smashing windows, does that make it harder for them to garner support?
Look, people are frustrated, people are angry, and I am not going to condemn them for standing up and expressing that anger, because the real violence in this case begins with the killing of Kamani Gray. When I talk about revolution, I talk about the need to break the stranglehold on wealth and power that a handful of rich people have in this capitalist imperium to overthrow that government, to break up their institutions of suppression, and replace the society with a different one, with different economic relations, where there's not a handful of people who own and control everything, but things are owned and controlled and operated collectively, where that's the economic relations, where the social relations of whites lording it over black people and people of color, men dominating and suppressing women, one nation run the whole world, those are done away with. That's what I'm talking about when I talk about revolution. And that's going to be gotten into in this film that's premiering in Harlem at the Magic Johnson Theater this Saturday. B.A. Speaks, Revolution, Nothing Less.
All right, Mr. Dix, appreciate you coming on. That was Carl Dix, a national leader and activist.
Thank you.